Good morning, traders. Paul here with GammaEdge. Today is Friday, the 9th of September. Let's get started. Pause your players here. Read this. If you agree, hit the play button. Summary for today. We are in a new short-term uptrend. It started a couple days ago. You need to believe the trend. The intermediate term trend is down, but this too could signal an initial long today, which would be an opportunity to add to your paper positions. Long-term trend is down. We do not see it changing today or on Monday. It could though. Single day change in the wing charts is the same. We are seeing short-term gamma come out on the put side, and we are seeing short-term gamma being added on the long side. The fish pond map, which JB graciously, one of our traders, graciously does for us, is showing that we are advancing slightly off the bottoms, and we are, because of this, we are long. Many of us in the Discord are long IWM. Paper trading, of course. This has back tested well. I wrote about it yesterday and is working in the current sequence, especially with the overnight gap up that we're expecting in futures this morning. It should be a fairly significant rise in those positions. We have a construct which we call transition. We agree that there is no one flip point. It's messy, it's diffuse, and because of that we have this transition. So depending on how we define it, we are in the middle of it. We are defining a loose range between 39.70, 75, and all the way from 40.40 up to 40.95. There's still a little bit to work through there, but in general, very bullish, and we think that we're going to continue to advance, at least for today. Because we are in transition on the SPX, we don't see a lot of dealer flow, but when we do see it, the reactions, we expect sharp movements as they hit one or the other of their bumpers. As we've been talking about all week, the 4,000, 4,005 level has been completely absorbed. If you don't understand what we're talking about, I urge you to come into the Discord and ask. This was a prerequisite to advance. We've been bird dogging it all week, and we've called it, and here we are. So completely absorbed, we've advanced above it, and this is how you play the levels. To the downside, 39.70. I know a lot of talking heads are talking about 38 in change, 38.50, 38.75. That's too far down. There's actually support that starts at 39.70. We will need to see a significant change in structure to aggressively push downward from here. We could certainly move down. I'm not saying that. What I am saying is that aggressively dropping from here is most likely not possible because we have firm support, which is starting at 39.70 and extends down from there. When you take a look at the market model, and it all begins with the market model, we had a confirmation with the EOD 2 days ago of the short-term uptrend. If you don't understand what you're looking at here, I would urge you to come into the Discord and ask questions. We had a continuation pattern yesterday, and we have what we call a railroad track up signal here. Short-term long is where you need to be in this, of course, paper trades. Intermediate term signal is almost ready to flip, but it is still in cash or on the bearish side, but it's under dramatic pressure. This actually would be a time, if it fails to move up into this area, you could look at opening shorts, but we're not there. And as I said, I don't anticipate that we're going to push downward with any degree of velocity. The long-term trend, you can see that we're rolling over here in what we call the ribbon. We've almost completed the inversion, and basically long-term we are down. The slopes of the ribbon are all pointing down. Now if the white CT moves up into this area, that will change, but we're not there, and don't anticipate. The market can change on a dime. As I said, the wing charts are relatively unchanged. We're seeing short-term gamma come out on the put side, long-term gamma go in on the call side, and basically this is constructive to the bulls. OI changes, I will pull your eye down here. We're seeing the distributions that you see here on overall strikes. We're seeing them here on the expiries. And the magnitudes are equal, which you can, if you look back and look at the major divisions, they have not been. And the fact that we're seeing calls go in is constructive. And this is exactly what we look for. This is why you use the OI charts. You want to see calls go in, which is what you're seeing here, and you want to see how they're distributed out in the expiries. And you can see that they are actually working pretty well. Fish pond changes a little bit for today. Sector mapping, you can see the different ETFs here, and we're watching these. Some of them are still coming down. XLC, for instance, is coming down. You can see, though, XLB is improving, etc., etc. Urge everyone to take a look at this, and then this is the delta over here. JB will be providing some insight this Sunday at the open mic, and I would urge everybody to come in and listen to that. I'll also be presenting some information regarding backtesting on some of these signals and what that means. The option complex zeros, no real change. We have the divergence, it's continuing. When we talk about this divergence, we have the true gamma and true delta zero shown here in red and yellow. For the different ETFs, up here is the SPX. SPXA is the AM settled. We consider this the institutional money. It is the divergent one. The combo is literally the addition of the SPXA, the SPXP, and you can see that they are turning up, whereas the SPY, the Qs, and IWM are all pointing down. This is the divergence we've been talking about. Institutional money is not buying into selling yet. That may change next week with the AMs being rolled out, but nevertheless, we're watching this, and we'll just have to wait and see what's happening. This has been giving us confidence of going long in this particular market simply because of what we're seeing here. Taking a look at the key levels, 4,000 as I indicated, POI, COI. Note that we are changing massively to the positive side here. I've highlighted that here. This is a major change from where we started on Tuesday, so I want everyone to pay attention to that. This is necessary to continue to advance. We need to see more green, which is the delta notionals, excuse me, delta notional, and the amount of shares that need to be adjusted as we move through these levels. So a fairly significant change over the week, and this is supportive to us going up, independent of what other services have said. You know, sucker bull, sucker rallies, yeah, not so much. We're making money, and you can see why. Zero DTE, fairly strong zero DTE. We do think there are some limits to how fast we can go, but we also think, too, that the zero DTE, once we get above a certain point, is not really going to contribute much. You can see if you take a closer look here, compare the distributions, that's why it's positive here. We're really vaporizing on the put side. We've got a lot of calls here, so if we get these monetized, that could push us down, but we're not expecting that. So we are expecting to play up in this range today, and you can see the dominant 40-50 strike on the zero DTE with some mixture in the delta notionals. Basically are going to give us the playground that we most likely will roam around in today. Above that 40-60, 40-65 range, you can see that we turn negative again in the delta notionals. This is all going to vaporize by the end of the day. I don't anticipate we're going to push aggressively up into this area. So as a result of that, just expect some whipsaws and chopping around there. The SPX combo, which is the AM and PM, gives us, I think, a better picture of what's the lay of the land. 4,100 right here is clearly an upside target. It is the top of this loose transition range that I'm showing here in this blue box. Down below that 3,970 is what I talked about in the summary. You can see that it's very, very positive. Minus GEX sitting here at 3,900. I think we start getting support once we get below that 3,970, and the deeper we go, the more that has to be absorbed. So I don't see us aggressively pushing south, especially with some fairly significant gamma levels here at 3,950 and 3,900. That being said, You can see we closed right at the base of transition. We've got some fairly significant negative gamma that's sitting here, and so pushing downward could be fairly sharp, contrasted with some of the positive gamma that we're seeing going up here. So just be aware of that. We could see some whipsaws in this area. We could see some, what I would consider some fairly tight or fairly quick adjustments, tight in time, but magnitude could be fairly significant. Also want to draw your eye over here. We're still negative overall, sitting at this level, almost zero. Now remember, we're dealing with a $6 trillion industry here, and we're basically flat. I mean, 118,000 is nothing in the overall combo complex. So we're almost like the sailboat on the ocean without a rudder, and certainly without any wind in the sail. So just be aware we can whip around in here. Nothing to get worried about. The key levels 3970, pushing towards 4100 is where I think we play for today. We'll see. Finally, the lay of the land. One of the things that we've been talking about all week is that we needed the structure to clean up. If you're not familiar with what I'm talking about, I urge you to go back to prior morning calls. We've been talking about this all week, that we needed these little negative, net negative gamma levels to clean up, and they clean up either by closing those puts as price moves up, people feel compelled to take their profits, or we see calls getting opened, and that just squashes the net negative gamma as those puts, depending on how short term they are, can flip the strike around. We do have a negative level here at 40.75. We'll want to watch what happens. That could be a parking zone. Up here at 40.95 also is another one. We closed right here at 4,006, right at the base of transition. We are out of the negative gamma level here. Just keep an eye on this. We did have a growth of the 4,000. Remember, it shrank yesterday, opening the door, allowing us to cross above it, and you can see now we're growing again in the negative gamma. That's because we had both puts and calls open up in this area. And basically what we're seeing here are those negative, that negative gamma avail itself again. 3950 here, 3900 is minus GEX, all the way down here, 3600, watching the distribution down here. If there's going to be panic in the water, we're going to see a growth down here. We're not seeing it. We're actually seeing this vaporize down here, which could be give some instability to the overall chain. We'll just have to wait and see. 4,300 is the growth of the target. This is almost doubled in size with our movement up yesterday. We only went up, 25 points. So the growth here is due to calls being opened both at the 4,200 and the 4,300 area. And you can see that 44 actually shrank relative to where we were yesterday. Compare this to yesterday. It's important to see what people are thinking. And as I said, we've been calling for this for the last couple of days, and it's pretty clear what's happening. So with that, I bid you farewell. Make it a great Friday. Would urge everyone, if you have questions or comments or challenges or whatever, come into the Discord, discuss them with us. Happy to have you. Click on this link here or enter it into your browser. Click on the pricing tab, fill out the blanks, 14-day free trial, all the tools turned on. Great group of traders, very, very active, all experience levels, all portfolio sizes, paper trading, of course. Follow us on Twitter at GammaEdges with an S, and then here on YouTube, smash that like button if you liked what I put out today. Let me know that I'm on the right track. And of course, follow us, because Taylor posts every day and his content is amazing, very short, to the point, unlike mine. And Michael posts also, and we're doing a new trader series which Michael will be running. So lots of content to keep you on the right side of the market, and would love to see you in the Discord. With that, make it a great Friday, a great weekend, and we'll see you Sunday night at JB's presentation on the fish pond and the gamma ratio stuff. Take care.